Welcome to the fourth chapter of the series. We will see what has happened during the past month. It was not a good month at all. We had a good first match of the season, but then the results dropped like a stone very badly. I would like to think the 2 week between the first and second matches due to the international break had something to do, and the lowering of the match fitness of my players paid off for the opposition in the next matches. In the first match we had some luck as the Genoa team looked a bit better in the start of the game, but then in the 17th minute they had a man sent off, one of the central defenders, and we could then compete against them and take advantage of our being playing 11 against 10, and so they still dominated possession until the end of the match. During that time that they went one man down, we were more or less level in the number of shots created. Lazio dominated the match as it was somewhat expected, even though we were expected to win by the press. They had a free kick sent directly to the goal at the 4th minute, but then they got a second goal that should have not stood, as Klose controlled the ball before scoring. We had a consolation goal right at the end of the match, and a very good chance earlier during that second half that was missed by Samasa. In the game against Juventus, I discovered that I forgot to set the goalkeeper distribution, and it was set to kick throw instead of the long kick to the target man as I had intended at first. And I didn't notice it because in the pre-season many times he had done exactly that, long kicks toward the target man. After Asamoah had a goal disallowed, he just passed the ball directly to his feet, and he was then completely alone to beat him. Then we held up for quite a long time, but then Tevez scored, and that was the end of the match and any hope of getting a decent result. Then losing against Inter was an expected result, but there is losing and there is being passed over like this. A very bad defeat that I'm not at all happy, as you can guess. Especially bad performances by the goalkeeper and Drame. It seems so far that the worst performers are being the left and right backs. Fullbacks are doing the worst, and therefore I will probably be changing the fullback instructions and possibly set them to defending role and see if that improves it a little. Finally, we drew at home of Livorno, which is a game that we probably should have won, and we should have created more than we did. Also, they shouldn't have had such a control of possession, even if our tactics aren't meant to keep the ball very much. But still, I think we should be able to keep it a little more than we did in this match. Here you can see one of the situations in which a player exploits the distance between the defense and midfield. So in this time he doesn't get much to do as the midfielder arrives to mark him early. I have tried a workaround around that in this month. Generally, so far I just diminished the mentality of the right central midfielder, who is a little higher than the other, the central midfield defender. And it does indeed narrow that distance a little, because then he drops to be closer to the other and there's not so much space. But then he causes the distance to the forwards being a little higher, and we seem to lose a bit of edge getting the ball forward. Also, in this game, it didn't help that at the halftime I got confused, and instead of substituting the left winger that had been in charge in the first half, I substituted the deep line playmaker for another player that is more defensive than him. Here you will see another bit of a tactical change that I might want to do. The left midfielder of the center will come to the right half of the pitch and stay there for a bit more. Initially, the idea is good, as he offers himself as a passing option to Silverbauer, but I would like him to do that very often and not to stay that side very much, as that would create a big gap in the left side for any counter-attack that might arise. There, the chance of a pass is not taken, but there it was. With that, we are just 15th, with only 4 teams and a whopping 10 goals against in the difference. And that makes it for a tough season ahead. And so I would like to blame the international break and the low reputation of my manager. There is also the fact that I have not accounted well enough for the defensive vulnerabilities of the tactic so far. This next month starts with a tough game against Napoli, and that will increase our run without wins, and probably will hurt us in the future as the morale drops. Then Udinese will be the easiest game of the month, as they are in the relegation zone. At least I hope it's an easy game despite being away. Then Catania and Atalanta, that are not expected to be easy, as they're 5th and 6th in the table so far. So I don't know who they have played against, so maybe they won't be that easy, that hard I mean. That is all for today. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.